French Foreign Legion punishment. Oh man, we're probably going to make this into a series because this is a lot of information and a lot of good stories. So we'll definitely won't be enough for one video. But we could definitely touch on some interesting French Foreign Legion punishment. Now, we're not going to get into hazing or whatever. We're just talking about that, a little bit of that extracurricular love, that extra military instruction, that EMI, which is always a good time. Some things I've seen and some things I've experienced, right? I'll take one interesting instance for you, which was, it was in December. I was a couple years into the Legion, and we had gone on a run. Every Monday in the French Foreign Legion, you're running, rain or shine. And we went on a run, and, well, I was near the back, right? And I come into the gate, and it wasn't me being, everybody knew I wasn't the best long-distance runner, but I finished up. I think it was probably a 10 to 12 click or a 10 to 12 kilometer run, which is pretty normal. It was cold. We come in, and my company was forming up, was getting a formation, because when you come up to the French Foreign Legion gate, any gate, it's like this in all the Foreign Legion, when you come up as a group, you're going to muster up outside or get in lines. You're going to get your distance, separate like you're going to march, and you're going to get that Foreign Legion march. And we'll get into the Foreign Legion pace, but it's like this, knife hands, and it's a slower military pace. You see, it's that Legion swag. That's pretty cool about the Foreign Legion, is that slow-paced march, slower than anybody else in the French military. It's interesting. And we come to the gate, and we're singing, right? The French Foreign Legion, you're singing your songs. We're singing our company song, and there's a lot of formality in the Foreign Legion. It's very proud, a lot of pomp and circumstance, as they call it. The colonel and his little cronies were standing along the road to watch as each individual company marched and sang back. Now, it's usually in a height line, right? Starting from the tallest to the front left and the very shortest to the back right. But as I had gotten there a little late, I was near the back. So I'm taller, blasted in tattoos, and stand with all the short dudes, all the smurfs in the back. So I'm marching. So I'm standing out like a sore thumb. And I got a little swag when I walk, man. I got rhythm. I could dance, man. So I'm walking. I was actually trying to march well, this is why this story is kind of funny in retrospect. And we march back, right? We get past, and then everyone's going in. And in the Foreign Legion, after you run, you have about 30, 45 minutes to be able to shower, put on your camouflage fatigue uniforms, and get ready for the rest of the regular working day. It's December. Things are kind of winding down into that Christmas holiday. There's a little bit of a Christmas holiday you get, a couple weeks. So we had a couple weeks before that. It was early December. I had been feeling good. I had just finished up a kind of a lifeguard course, which is for the good swimmers, which I might talk about in another video. It's pretty interesting. And so I was coming off a little success. I had some momentum in the Legion, and I was feeling pretty darn good about things. I remember sitting, so I shower, and I'm waiting for the whistle to blow for us to go down and roster up for the working day. And I'm relaxed, feeling good. Kind of that runner's high. I always feel good after a run because it's always a put-out evolution for me. And I got this moment where I went, man, things are pretty good. And I haven't really had this feeling, man. I don't know what it was. I get a call from the office downstairs because we live in the company building, and on the bottom floor are all the offices for each troop, each section, I should say. And I get a call that they said, hey, your chief, your senior chief or your chief equivalent who needs to see you downstairs? I said, all right. Well, I go downstairs. And immediately this Romanian dude, who was kind of a fucking asshole just in general to deal with. He was very high and low, right? Very spiked, so you never knew what you were getting with him. And I start getting reamed into, fucking like yelled at, like not normal kind of yell, like screamed at, told to get in the push-up position in the fucking hallway. And so I get in the push-up position, right? And then he's yelling at me. He told me to get up and then enter into in the Legion, you have to knock, and then you go in with your beret and you salute and you give this long presentation. It has to be formal. And he's like, get the fuck out of me. I'm just kind of getting yelled at and told, that I'm all fucked up in every which way and every language, in Romanian and French and some mixed English in there, just getting fucking reamed into. Then I get put in the push-up position and just told to fucking stay. And I'm in that push-up position, sweating. It's cold, we're at that regiment, so we had like these thermal things on. So I'm inside prepping to go outside. So I have this thermal thing, and I'm in the push-up position for a fucking hour. I'm not exaggerating, a fucking hour. Kind of hitting that, that pike push-up and then just trying to blade off into that SEAL position, just trying to relieve the pressure off the shoulders. I was hurting, and I'm going, what the fuck is going on? Then this commanding officer of our company comes in, and he's not yelling, but he's like, what the fuck, qu'est-ce qui se passe? C'est quoi cette merde? In French, he's saying, what is this? What is this shit? The colonel called and said, hey, the fucking guy with the tattoos was marching like shit. Marching like shit. And I go, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I was marching. I thought good. But apparently he didn't like a little bit of the swag I had, a little bit of the flair I had been walking with. And he called our company. It's how it works in the French office. He called our company and yelled, and it was such a fucking huge deal that it rolled downhill, and the shit rolled downhill, and guess what? I was at the fucking bottom. And they start getting yelled at. Then the fucking chief's yelling at me about, I gotta write these contrandus, they're called. They're like these, I had to write it 75 times that I will march correctly and do all these paperwork things, handwritten, mind you. In the French one, you gotta handwrite it in French and send it off and, whatever. Just a little chit paperwork about me not marching correct. And my punishment was, he said, you see that fucking place out there? He points outside, and it's just this open little area of grass. He's like, you're going to make a fucking pyramid out of rocks as tall as you, which I'm 6 feet tall. I had to make a pyramid out of rocks 6 feet tall. Now, I don't know if anybody's made a pyramid out of rocks this size, and baseball size, and maybe a little bigger and smaller. It's fucking hard, and you need pretty much a 6 foot wide base to make a 6 foot tall pyramid. And it needs to be good. It can't be shitty. And there's not a lot of rocks. So I go outside. It's dumping ice rain, mind you. It's December in the mountains of France. It's fucking cold, man. So I look over this prairie and where we're at, and I had to wake up. From that moment, I walked, put my Gore-Tex top on, put a fucking mountain backpack on, and walked around the regiment it's kind of rural, this regiment, so there's a lot of open prairie space, but not a lot of rocks. And I spent the next 3 straight fucking days, exaggerate not, from 6 in the morning, I had no other job, no other work, no other anything to do other than build this fucking pyramid until I finished it. I spent 3 straight fucking days in ice rain. It was raining all fucking time. Mix of snow and rain, digging out with my fucking hands and a little pickaxe, rocks out of the ground and putting them in my backpack and walking back far, like 15-minute trips each way, to pack my backpack with rocks and build this fucking pyramid. And that went on for full, like 16-hour days of packing rocks for 3 days. Straight up till I got that pyramid done. And guess what? When I was leaving the Legion, that pyramid was still fucking there, man. That pyramid was still going strong right in front of the company, just as a reminder to fucking march correctly. It became a running joke. We'd walk by and we'd march and go, hey, Kavanaugh, Corporal Kavanaugh, march correctimo, march correctly is what they were telling me. Never forget that. People would see, but you know what? I had my moments where I was like looking at this ice, freezing hands and pulling rocks out that are all dirty, going, what the fuck? Where am I at? But guess what? I saw some guys come by and they'd make a joke, and we'd laugh. I was fine because I knew I was also doing all the correct shit. At night, I was training. I was taking moments to self-reflect. I had the ability, nobody was fucking with me. I actually had moments that were kind of chill. It was frustrating, don't get me wrong. But I had moments, nobody was messing with me. Everyone's letting me do my thing. I was burning off my Legion karma with my not marching right. But in the Legion, if you do fuck up and then you're serving your punishment, people are fine with it. People are like, all right, leave him alone. He's fucking doing his thing. Well, that's what's, I guess, good about the Legion. And he gave me some time to just think about life and space and time and universal concepts. It was okay. I was actually fine. And one night after kind of the Cotter, the NCOs had gone away, I had some guys fucking help me fucking on one of my section. It was cool. Some of that brotherly love, hooking a homie up to kind of just get it all complete fast. I had 3 days fucking doing it. And pyramids are a thing in the Legion, right? Because they know it's a lot of time for you to think about what you did, whatever it was. And it's extra time, it's shitty, it's marching rocks back and forth and stacking them into a nice, clean pyramid. I've seen that done in the jungle. I've seen that done all over. There's pyramids. If you see a Foreign Legion base, there's pyramids everywhere. And we'll get into kind of the little Legion jails and the pyramids there, which are stacked like the Great Pyramids. It's an interesting punishment. Time to think, structuring it, making it correct, and wasn't stoked on it. But guess what? Even in that state, because I had been doing the correct shit and really living in as close to alignment as I could, I was setting my goals, I was doing my thing, I was structured, eating right, watching my food, training. Man, you can be doing anything and be happy. I knew that moment, if I could be happy there, I could be happy anywhere. Because if you're good anywhere, you'll be good everywhere. Remember that. There's no mountain, no next thing, no that's going to make you happy. Man, be good right now by doing the correct shit every fucking day. Right now to build that self-worth and that confidence and that contentness in self, in action, in habits, in self-talk, right? That self-talk follows after all the actions are correct. It all ties together. It was all right. You can be in a peaceful state and even in what would seem to be a miserable scenario, right? When I was at my point of suicidal point, I was in fucking Hawaii, man. I was in the jungle in Hawaii. I was in paradise and in hell. And if that's true, then the opposite can be true, right? Man, the reality is right here. It doesn't matter what your setting is. It really doesn't. Your habits and your actions and your self-talk is what's going to affect that lens. So act right. Do the correct shit. Maintain that clarity. And that inner peace will come no matter where you are. Be smart. Out here.